All right, today we have Silverberry, or Elaeagnus. Russian olive, autumn olive, those are different species in this group of the Elaeagnus family. And these are the silverberries themselves, and hope you can get the little silver speckles on this beautiful red berry. But this is a much maligned plant. Like, botanists often talk very badly about this plant. It's an exotic invasive. A lot of people come and just cut it down. We actually love this plant. We love to run into this plant. If you look at the underside, that's very silvery, and hopefully that'll show up in a video. But it's got little tiny silver dots, and the whole thing just feels kind of like a little grainy and silvery. The top of the leaf is really dark green, wavy edges. And it's often got sort of a brownish to reddish, slightly reddish tinged stem. I've cut these off and actually stuck them in the ground before just to see if they would grow. And more of them died than grew, but some of them did grow, just sticking the branches right in the ground. The berries are edible. Some people don't like them. They're kind of astringent. They'll dry your mouth up. But they are extremely antioxidant. They can have up to 17 times as much lycopene as a tomato. And tomatoes are famous for the antioxidant lycopene. So these can be really good for you. Those antioxidants, you know, that combat the free radicals that cause so many illnesses and diseases in the human body. So they're really good for you. And it's also, every plant, every species in this family has nitrogen-fixing bacteria, a relationship with that in its roots. So it's one of the nitrogen fixers. A lot of the exotic invasives actually got brought over to help repair the soil. And when we say exotic invasive, we often just dismiss it as like it doesn't belong here, even though we ourselves are exotic invasives. It doesn't belong, and we will kill the plant. To me, that's a species hierarchy. It's a really ugly thing. It's saying that this plant's life doesn't matter. Our life is so valuable. If somebody said, I'm just going to kill all the people that don't belong here, and started shooting them, most of us would object to that. In the same way, I object to treating the plants that way, because we're the cause of these plants being here. And they're actually, a lot of them are doing something really good to the soil, because almost all the soil here in America now has been farmed, has been depleted, and because so many of these plants are nitrogen fixers, they're helping repair the soil, which I suspect is one of the reasons why they get such a strong foothold and are now out-competing some of the native plants that have evolved to be in the rich soil that we have depleted. So I suspect that as time goes by, these plants will, on their own, as the soil repairs, start diminishing, start being outcompeted by the plants that favor the richer soil, the natives. So is there anything you want to add to that?
I guess I wanted to kind of step back and show the size of this one in comparison to you, but there's also silverberries that are smaller, they look more like bushes. And they can get taller than this, or is this about the size that they usually get?
This is generally the size. It's a shrub, so you won't see it growing into a full tree, and you won't see it really small like an herb unless it's just, you know, newly sprouting out of the ground. But almost anytime you run into it, it's something like this. It's a shrub, and it tends to grow where people are. So on the sides of roads, on the sides of walking trails, places like that, in parks.
And we taught a summer camp last year when, before the COVID pandemic, and the kids would eat these berries up. So something else I just wanted to add is that just like us, each plant has a personality. And so some of the silverberries you might try may be astringent and make your mouth pucker. Some of them are really sweet, and I imagine those are the ones that the kids really liked. They're real sugary. And they do have kind of like I don't think it's a pit, but they do have kind of a seed in the middle.
And it's kind of soft. I just eat the seed.
Yeah, you can poop it out, and maybe a autumn olive will grow from your poop.
And some species have thorns. This one does not, that I can see. So some of them will have these long thorns. Some of them have branches that are kind of thorny. Some of them are completely absent of thorns, depending on the species. I don't get it down to the species. I just look, if I'm dealing with an Elaeagnus, everything I said applies. And as we end this video, I just want to kind of point out the branching pattern. The alternate leaves, you know, that are single, the little buds there, tiny little reddish brown buds, and even the stem is kind of speckled, looks a little silvery. And once again, look at the underside of these leaves, very silvery.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's easiest when you have the berries on them there. And there are some species that are native, I guess.
Yep, some are. So, a lot of people just assume every silverberry it's got a bad reputation, so it's an exotic invasive, and that's not true. So thank you, Silverberry.
Thank you so much, Silverberry.